Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah coming to you guys from California. Before I begin, give all praises to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. I pray the Most High blesses this lesson this evening, gives more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past, in order to understand the events that are currently happening on the earth, so we get a much better understanding of the things that are soon to come on the earth. Brethren, one of the family members sent us this article here. I wanted to touch on it today. The Day of Destiny, December 21st, 2020. Conspiracies claim end of the world and Black Superpower Day will align with winter solstice. Now, you know they're listening to our videos. They're trying to, sneak this, our people. They're trying to come against this information, but not really come against us as a people. They're not trying to come against the information. They're trying to just link us up with conspiracy theories. Trying to just throw us in that lot. But before you guys can throw us in that lot, talking about how crazy we are, well, you have plenty of things that you need to prove. See, the days of you thinking that we, are going to kowtow or bow down to you guys' your opinions and saying what's a conspiracy theory and what's true, those days are over with. So you still think this is, 2019. This isn't 2019 anymore. You don't run this anymore. I think it's a conspiracy theory that you guys think that you guys are the Most High's chosen people. I think it's a conspiracy theory that you guys seem to think that, you have now taken the place of the Most High's chosen people. I think it's a conspiracy theory that you guys think that you are the original Britons. I think it's a conspiracy theory to think that you guys are the Celts, the Black Celts, the Celts or Celts, okay? Irish. See, there's everything that you guys have set up. I think it's a conspiracy theory that you guys think that you know the way to heaven and that you're in some position to teach. You guys haven't proven anything. All you do is stay quiet. And then you put out these articles and make it seem like people who have these kinds of thoughts or whatever else about it being the end of the world, or these people are crazy. See, we know that it's not the end of the world. It's the end of an age, the end of your age, the end of your reign. That's what this is signifying. See, you guys make it seem like it's, you want to, make it the way you guys want to see it. You guys want to try to go around and make it seem like, it's the end. They're saying that it's the end of the world on December 21st, 2020. No one said that. It's the end of your world. It's the end of your time. And then so they go with that, which then, if it doesn't happen that day, people are like, oh, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Well, how many things have you guys been bringing up that's not true? Oh, you guys have said that, white Jesus is going to save you if you just say Jesus. That ain't working. You guys said that you guys are going to get raptured up out of here. That's not working. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's all these different things that you guys have been saying that have it hasn't come to fruition, and you guys still think that you're in some position to teach. You see what I'm saying? So you guys don't hold that position anymore. You can write your papers, you can write your magazine articles and everything else. And you can use our own people against us to say like, oh, you guys are setting dates. You guys can't set a date because, no one's setting any dates. See, even with the whole Black Superpower Day, like, what, all supposed Black people are going to be getting superpowers that day? I mean, are you serious? But that's what they do. They try to just, oversimplify things. They haven't proven anything. They've been pushing the rapture since the year 2000 with the movie Left Behind. Not happening. I thought you guys were men and women of God, and that God would protect you from CV. And now we hear about all these pastors and priests passing away. That story about the nuns, I think it was 10 nuns or something like that died within a couple week period. I thought these were women who had dedicated their whole lives to serving God, and God struck them down, or the Most High struck them down. We're going to be getting into, you guys talking about, us as being slaves, and that our history began with slavery. We had nothing before that. That's a conspiracy theory, because that's this history you made. Most of the things they taught in history are fake. That could be considered conspiracy theories. But see, no one questions that. So like I said, so now you guys actually acting like we need to explain things to you when you haven't explained anything to us. So those days are done. So you can make these stories up and make them seem, and make us seem as if we're crazy. That's okay, because most people want to believe that we're crazy. Most people want to believe that what we're saying is not true. So you will find many people who will believe these stories because they don't want to believe that they're going to have to pay for what their ancestors did to our ancestors. So they'll find plenty of people that, those black people, those Israelites, they're crazy. Well, of course you want to believe that. What's your other alternative? Your other alternative is to believe that what we're saying is correct. And the Most High is about to recompense you for 1,000 years, double what we got. You don't want to believe that your kids can be sold into slavery. You don't want to believe that your wife can be taken away from you. You don't want to believe that you can be sold as a man into slavery and, and not have liberty and freedom. You don't want to believe that. So therefore, you'll believe anybody to tell you anything you want to hear. Let's read a little something before we read this article. Okay? We're going to read from the Colburn Bible. Okay? If you have it, page 181. We've done videos on this before. But let's read this because it's very pertinent to what is going on right now. It fits like a hand in a glove. The dark days, which is exactly what we're in right now. The dark days began with the last visitation of the destroyer. And they were foretold by strange omens in the skies. All men were silent and went about with pale faces. And that's what you're seeing right now. The whole world right now is going around with pale faces because they know something's coming, but they don't know what. They thought they were going to be raptured, and they're still here. The vaccine that they've been talked about, was going to be pushed out during the last days, and the Antichrist is going to show up and everything else. It's not working out the way they thought it would. They're still here. I'm going to do another video on some of these pastors and some of the things that they're saying. I said, because now when you go to church, you're going to hear these, or even when you go on the internet, you just listen to their little sermons, you're going to hear that this garbage, which shows they have no understanding because they're trying to keep the sheep asleep. Let's continue. The leaders of the slaves, which had built a city to the glory of Thom, stirred up unrest. Yes. Happily, that's exactly what we're doing. We're stirring up unrest in the minds of these people. They're hearing the messages. They're hearing what we're talking about. They're hearing that we're actually getting closer to our power. Most High is bringing us back to our original state. And that's what the Most High is doing right now. Okay? So again, the leaders of the slave, which built a city to the glory of Thom, stirred up unrest. And no man raised his arm against them. Again. And no man raised his arm against them. They foretold great events, of which the people were ignorant, and of which the temple seers were not informed. So the people are ignorant. The pastors are ignorant of the things that we are telling them now. They're being used and foretold great events of which the people were ignorant. And what are these great events? The Most High's chosen people being raised back up again. The Most High's chosen people being shown their inheritance again. The Most High is showing again, or they're actually telling them about the Most High showing them about the ley lines and the path back to our power. And they're not supposed to understand it because, like I said, they're ignorant to it. The people are ignorant to it, as well as their pastors. It says, these were days of ominous calm, when the people waited for they knew not what. The presence of an unseen doom was felt. And I said right now, there's a presence of an unseen doom right now. And you see it in these people's faces right now. The hearts of men were stricken. Laughter was heard no more, and grief and wailing sounded throughout the land. Even the voices of children were stilled, and they did not play together, but stood silent. These kids aren't going to school. They're not going to parks, the vast majority of them. The fun that they had before, isn't there anymore. Now, if people decide to go ahead and go against what the Most High has been setting up, have been getting sick. And he's increasing the pain. And the people feel it. They look at society right now. These people are losing their minds. They've now put their faith in a vaccine that is just giving them more and more problems. And it's just the beginning. Like we said for the Tuskegee, experiment video, the Most High has now switched it to have them be the guinea pigs for this vaccine. That they used to use us as guinea pigs because they wanted to see how things would react, how syphilis would react. They would do these experiments on our women and our men and our children. Horrible days for us. But no one wants to acknowledge that. Okay? But I find that very telling when it says that even the voices of children were stilled, and they did not play together, but stood silent. The slaves became bold and insolent. And that's, it's like they got to make sure they talk about the slaves. Just you make a differentiation between the slaves and the rest of the world, because they have ignored the plight of the slaves. They have never, saying I'm sorry for one little act. You guys have a lot more coming than just saying I'm sorry for one little thing. You guys have been doing this stuff for hundreds and hundreds of years. But like I said, the slaves are being roused up. The Most High is raising us up in order to be able to tell these people the truth. So again, it says, the slaves became bold and insolent, and women were the possession of any man. Fear walked the land, and women became barren with terror. They could not conceive, and those with child aborted. All men closed up within themselves. I'm sure it's talking about a lot of the other nations and the bad things that they're feeling and the terror that they're feeling. The days of stillness were followed by a time when the noise of trumpeting and shrilling was heard in the heavens. So right now we got that time, right, of stillness. But what's going to come next is going to be the time of trumpeting. Sorry. And shrilling was heard in the heavens. And the people became as frightened beasts without a herdsman, as asses when lions prowl without their fold. The people spoke of the God of the slaves, and reckless men said, if we knew where this God were to be found. We would sacrifice to him. But the God of the slaves was not among them. He was not to be found within the swamplands or in the brick pits. His manifestation was in the heavens for all men to see, but they did not see with understanding, nor would any God listen, for all were dumb because of the hypocrisy of men. And you can see that right now, nor would any God listen, for all were dumb because of the hypocrisy of men. And that's what you're seeing right now with these articles, the hypocrisy of men. And also in talking about there in the Colburn Bible, it's talking about how like the temple seers, their priests and pastors would not have understanding. And see, I was looking at some videos, kept popping up on my screen, and Greg Laurie popped up talking about, the Christmas star showing up on 12/21. And, he's talking about how it just showed up 800 years ago. See, they know exactly what to keep out 800 years ago. And talking about maybe this is what the star was that the wise men followed to Jesus. And, this is maybe telling us to get closer to Jesus. I mean, it's like they just oversimplify, show they have no understanding. I said it's happened 800 years ago. It happened maybe not to the fullness, but it happened 400 years ago, and it's happening now. And when you look at, why don't they talk about what was happening 800 years ago, 400 years ago, and then today? So they'll try to twist it into something that was going on with them. Oh, them coming over here on the Mayflower 400 years ago, and that was their 400 years. Was all talking about them coming over here, and I guess I don't know. Their plight for the white man here was the rape, rob, and murder of the indigenous people and bringing over more slaves and killing them. I guess that was the hard thing they had to endure. Being on top and destroying everything, that was a hard thing for them to endure. But see, it's talking about the hypocrisy. They're hypocrites. They don't explain anything. When you show them the annals of the four masters, and it totally shows you an original written language and them translating it into their language and then just taking a history for themselves. They don't explain it. They just keep quiet. But then they put out stories like this and make it seem as if we're crazy. See, we understand that this is a shift. How the Most High decides to write his story on the shift is up to him. Would we love to have everything just switch on that day? Of course we would. But we don't make that choice. That's the Most High's call. All I know is that this shift on December 21st, 2020 is the end of the reign of Esau and the other nations. I know that is now the beginning of the transfer, probably even accelerated now, to Jacob. How fast the Most High decides to do it, I said, that's on him. Anyone that will come up and say, you guys were wrong, on December 22nd, 2020, it would come in and say, oh, you guys were wrong. You guys said we were going to have superpowers. You guys said we could do. I said, first of all, are you not looking at what's going on in society? Do you really see how the Most High is? Do you think the Most High is not working right now as he's destroying our enemies? So you would have to be a fool to act like, oh, things didn't happen that day, so everything's good. We're going back to normal. Is this what's normal is now? So the Most High already started the switch in December, in our new year. Now I look for definitely an amplification, intensification of the Edomite trouble, Esau's trouble, as well as the other people who have claimed, to be down with Esau. And they're also going to they're going to have some other people acting a fool, that aren't necessarily of our nation, and go out there with superhero suits and and acting a fool, like oh yeah, I'm going to be super, acting, just trying to discredit this awakening, discredit this conjunction. And that's okay. Go right ahead. We're not here for you. We're not here to prove things to you. Our scriptures and other writings show that you will never get it. You haven't gotten it up to this point. Most High has, chosen not to give it to you. We're going to read a little bit of the article, but I want to kind of set the stage because they're the biggest hypocrites. What have they proven to us? They're still calling us black all over television every day. Are we black? Are we African Americans? You can go all over the whole world. Are we Mexicans? Are we, Colombians? All these bywords that they have used, they still use all the way to, Asians. Because all they've done is gone and taken over our lands and planted people in our lands. Planted people in our lands. And they've assumed our identity till today. Are there really East Indians? They just went to, when they took over our lands, took over our ley lands, took it all over and placed different people in these different areas, and they've assumed our identity till today. Brazilians. Like I said, these are all bywords. These are all can be, prove it. Prove that the people that are there today were the ones that have been there thousands of years ago. You can't. They can't. So they're hypocrites. So even people who write these kinds of articles, they're just hit pieces. They're just trying to attack us without attacking us. They're trying to attack us without really having to come forth with any information to disprove us. They haven't proved. They don't try to prove. They just ignore our plight. We know that these signs, these conjunctions, have meaning on our planet, but they don't want to talk about. Because they're always the bad guys for the last 800 years. They put themselves up as these, high moral authorities. But they're not, and that's why they don't want to talk about it, because they know that they're not, in any position morally to be telling us anything. But they want to kill us all and then set up the churches and tell us how to get to God. Hypocrites. Let's read a little bit of this article. Day of Destiny, December 21st, 2020. Conspiracies claim end of the world, end of Esau's world, and Black Superpower Day will align with winter solstice. Wow. Conspiracy nuts are claiming the world will end on the winter solstice, while others insist black people will mysteriously gain superpowers on this day. Like I said, who said that we're going to gain superpowers on that day? It's unbelievable. These wacky claims have been fueled by the Mayan calendar, plus a rare celestial event due next week. So the Mayan calendar was used to make this latest doomsday prophecy. Wacky Christian evangelist pastor Paul Begley earlier this year predicted that doomsday would strike on December 21st, 2020. He cited the Mayan calendar and the alignment of two planets on that date, which happens to be his birthday, as proof for his baseless claims. See, everybody else has said, even if they say something, it's baseless. They have no basis to it. Keep on going. The orbits of Jupiter and Saturn will take them so close together on December 21st, they'll form a double planet phenomenon. It will mark the first conjunction of the two planets, forming what some are branding a Christmas star for several centuries. See, they're talking about Christmas stars again. They're trying to align it with their holidays or their holidays, okay? What will happen on Black Superpower Day? What the hell? It says double planet event. You guys see it right here. On December 21st, 2020, Jupiter and Saturn will come so close together, They'll look like a double planet to stargazers on Earth. This event hasn't happened for around 800 years. Like I said, it's happened 400 years ago too. I said it might not have had the brilliance. It might not have been as close, but we already know it happened then as well. It says, look low down in the western sky an hour after sunset and below the Capricornus constellation. What will happen on Black Superpower Day? Here we go. Is one of a flurry of conspiracy theories that have cropped up in recent weeks linking supernatural events to December 21st. On that day, Saturn and Jupiter will form a bright double star phenomenon in the sky. One Twitter, a user explained the tongue-in-cheek theory. Say, we're going to use Twitter? Somebody put on Twitter? Are you guys serious? Says, they said as black people, genetically, we are stronger and smarter than everyone else. We are more creative. On December 21st, our real DNA will be unlocked, and the majority will be able to do things that we thought were fiction. Now, again, we're talking about the chosen. It's not the majority. It's not a lot of people. It's the ones that the Most High has chosen. He's never dealt with. He's just wanting huge, huge numbers because he wants the glory, as he deserves all the glory. Okay, so again, will be unlocked, and the majority will be able to do things that we thought were fiction. Not there alone. Just saying it's the majority. Majority of who? Not all black people are Hebrews. Not all black people are Israelites. So it's not going to be the majority of black people anyways. But see, that's what they do with these kinds of things. It says as black people genetically, we're stronger, do things we thought were fiction. December 21st, our real DNA will be unlocked, and majority will be able to do things that we thought were fiction. Learn who you are as a people. They want to make us average. And, there's some truth, and some stuff that's not true. It's real simple, okay? Learn who you are as a people. It's more than just learning who you are as a people, okay? We've already talked about that. Learning that you're Hebrews, learning that you're Israelites, that's one part of it. Getting this other information, I said, is another part of it. This is all part of our heritage as well. Since people have also started to debate whether they'd want to be a superhero or a villain. You see what I'm saying? Like everything's a joke to people. Oh, I'd much rather be a villain. I'd much rather be a superhero. I'm like, you guys are going to have those choices. See, the villains have already been set up. The villains have already been here for the last 800 years. There hasn't been any superhero. They haven't had anyone to go against them because it's been their blessing. You see that for the last 800 plus years. But that's how this is it. That's how this works with them. It's a joke. Oh, if I got, when I get my superpowers, I'm going to do this. You see what I'm saying? Like they have a choice. When the Most High, gives back the powers to the people that, to his people, they will be under the power. They will be under the, we'll be under the thumb of the Most High. You see that? It says heated discussions have also broken out on whether you'd rather be a DC, would you rather belong to a DC or Marvel universe. Said everything's a joke. That's okay though. The trend has led to funny memes all over Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm not going to read about the winter solstice, but of course, they throw white people over by Stonehenge when that's actually our stuff. Prove this, people, because I keep on looking at these pictures of these druids and they're white people. CNN, I took a picture. I might do a video on that one, but it's like, they've made the druids white people. Prove it. Prove that you guys did not just come and, culture vultures and come and steal our history and then throw your faces on it. Prove white Jesus was around, I said thousands and thousands of years ago and didn't just show up during the Renaissance. I said, you guys sit here and push all this garbage, and then if anybody goes against what you say, they're conspiracy theories, conspiracy theorists, and nuts and crazies. Even though you haven't proven anything, you just said it, and then that's it. You said John 3:16, God so loved the world, so therefore now God loves everybody. Except he still treats our people like shit. But he loves everybody though, right? Get it? Yeah, how is that possible? Isn't that, I would say that is a conspiracy theory. The God so loves the world, that's a conspiracy theory because your God hasn't loved us. Still doesn't to this day. See? I said so you guys don't have a monopoly on the truth anymore. The Colburn Bible talks about how you guys don't, you guys are not, you're going to be ignorant to the truth, and you, as a whole, as a majority, as a society, are going to be, not understanding, not knowing what's going on, and your priests and pastors, same thing. So you'll come up with stories like this in order to devalue what we say, and try to still keep yourselves and your dogma on top. But the Most High has already been showing you for the last 9 months that that's not true. He's accelerated your pain with the plague. He's now reduced your God to a vaccine that wasn't tested on most people. And now that we're coming to December 21st, 2020, you're trying to make it seem as if it's no big deal. That's what you guys have been doing, making it seem as if these events in the sky are no big deal, so that then your people can take advantage and do their thing, behind closed doors in order to be able to push their agenda. You imagine if none of our people are actually praying, because we are, hey, we have been, all this information was taken away from us. Then you see how much easier it is for the evil to get everything pushed in their direction. If this great reset, if we didn't understand what was going on, because we're so busy worrying about the plague and everything else going on around us, they would then be able to push their agenda for another however many years, 400 years. But now that we have so many people awakened, so I'm looking forward to seeing our prayers, our people getting together, our people praying. And now when you see stuff like this, they're trying to keep our numbers down, for us, our numbers down from people praying, people coming back to the Father, people praying against their enemies. Like I said, and this little piece here was just a way to kind of sit there and go against us without saying anything. Just pretty much just calling us crazy, trying to demean us, and trying to act as if what we're saying isn't true. But this should empower us even more, because now we're seeing that they are listening to what we're saying. They are listening to our people. They are listening and then trying to counteract what we're doing. See, other people in the truth aren't talking about the conjunctions in the sky, because they don't believe in looking at stars. They don't believe in any of that. So we know they're not talking about the camps. We know they're not talking about those people, because they're not talking about what's going on with December 21st, 2020. They're not trying to get people together to pray. You see that? At least I haven't. If I'm wrong, hey, please let me know. But I haven't seen very many videos talking about December 21st, 2020, within the camps, trying to get people to get together and pray. You see, so like I said, if I'm wrong, please correct me. Not a problem. But this is confirming that they're listening. And instead of trying to prove us wrong, they just set up, these kinds of articles in order to try to discredit us, which I could care less. I know that big things are ahead tomorrow evening, sealing up the time of the Gentiles. Now, I said going forward, how everything works out, we'll see. But if you're going out, if you're looking for the Gentiles to tell you the truth about anything, you will be definitely let down, because there's absolutely no truth in them whatsoever. All praise is to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom.